And this episode of Penn Point starts right now. This episode of Penn Point is brought to you by Gamefly. Go to www.gamefly.com/pen for your free trial membership. Yeah, okay, so I don't answer things often, but this was so heartfelt. And I'm going to read this letter, and then I'm going to give you an answer, but I don't have an answer. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, I don't have an answer prepared, but I'm going to see if it pops up into my head. This is about pastor speaking at my school. I'm not sure if Penn checks his YouTube messages, but anyone who sees this, I'd be thankful if you gave this to Penn. And someone did. Dear Penn Jillette, spelled correctly, Jillette. Today in my high school careers class, they brought in a pastor. I was thinking, okay, well, as long as he doesn't get preachy, I guess it's fine. Well, he got preachy. And I was biting my cheek the entire time. You have to be careful biting your cheek in front of a priest. It might turn you off. This guy's a pastor, I guess. Biting my cheek the entire time, trying not to start a fight. Anyway, I was wondering, 1, is this legal? 2, do you think I did the right thing keeping my mouth shut, or do you think that I should have spoken out? 3, should I say something to the teacher about how I didn't like having religion preached to me in a public classroom? Should I just forget about it? Any advice would be much appreciated, even though it might be hard to believe. I do look up to you. Even though it might be hard to believe, I do look up to you. And there it is right there. Even though they'll show you this. Even though it's hard to believe, I'm covering up his name there. Even though it's hard to believe, I do look up to you. Even though it might be hard to believe. Okay. It's kind of nice that he writes this kind of heartfelt question and then ends with an amazing, just a pure insult. I guess that's called the backhanded compliment. I don't care what anybody says. I think you're okay. I get asked these questions a lot. People asking me, as an atheist and an outspoken, out of the closet atheist, if you have to stand up and pick every battle. And my choice throughout my life was to pick every battle and not back down. And that was my choice. And I think people think that choice is a moral choice, that anybody who's an atheist is supposed to stand up to everybody and just say, there's no God all the time, which, I do, except in our live show at the Penn and Teller Theater at the Rio All Suites Hotel Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. I think there's one passing reference to not in this show. In this show, there's not even a sentence, I'm an atheist. In this show, there's one sentence that says Teller and I are libertarians, but we don't elaborate on it. We just say it. And there's no sentence in there that says I'm an atheist, So I don't say it all the time. The theory that I use on atheism is what I call for entertaining, is what I call the Garth Brooks theory. We did a show with Garth Brooks at the Hollywood Bowl. It was a charity thing, 2 acts of the same bill. And I watched Garth Brooks perform, and Garth Brooks does talk about Christianity. And what's interesting is, heartbreaking, Garth Brooks's mom and my mom died in a short period of time. So we were both mourning, in deep mourning, at the time that we met. We didn't chat much, talked a little bit about our moms, and that was it. But I watched Garth Brooks on stage, and he did not do any religious songs. He did not do any preaching. But when it came time to talk about his mom and how he loved her, he mentioned Jesus Christ as his Lord. And when I talk about my mom and how I loved her, I usually explain that she sneakily raised me as an atheist while still going to church, and then became an atheist, out of the closet atheist, in her 80s. And I often explain that not being religious, being an atheist, helped get me through the death of my parents and my sister, because I didn't have a spook show. I had to live with the fact that my mom died a horrible death. She was paralyzed. A very independent woman who then had to be fed and dressed, take care of her arms were paralyzed. And science could not figure out why, which it's insane that people pretend that atheists think that science knows everything. Not at all, not in any way, shape, or form. We didn't know. And when my mom died of this and other stuff, I found that atheism was incredibly comforting to me, because I had to deal with the fact that my mom was gone and I'd never see her again, but I didn't have to deal with the fact that there was a supreme being that was omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent, who had chosen to make my mom suffer. So it made it much easier for me. And I'll talk about that. But I don't bring it up often. If you bring up my mom and atheism, I'll say that. And I try to follow the Garth Brooks theory, which is atheism should be mentioned in our entertainment show as much as Jesus Christ is mentioned in his entertainment show, because we're both secular entertainers. And I think we actually mention atheism less in our live show than Garth Brooks mentions Jesus Christ. But I haven't seen his show yet in Vegas, so I'm not sure. But in answer to your letter, I think you pick your battles. There is no morality attached to every time a religious person says something, you have to come out against them. Shutting up and listening is always a valid position. If you feel like a coward, then you need to do something about it, because if you feel like you're holding back because you're afraid, then you need to, confront that and think about that. But that is, in a certain sense, a psychological and artistic decision. It's not a moral decision. So I'm saying to, I guess they'll say his first name, Chance. They can blip it out if they want. I'll say to Chance, if a preacher had come to my high school and preached, I would have been sticking my hand up and saying, well, how do you feel about having this job when there's no God? Don't you feel bad lying to people? Isn't it wrong? And what do you think about God saying to Abraham that he should kill his son? Would you do that? Would you kill your son if you thought God told you to? Do you think that it's okay that Jesus Christ told everybody to abandon their families, to just leave their families behind and follow him? Do you think that abandonment of a family is a good thing? Do you believe? That would have been all my questions. But that's because I'm me. I'm me, and it's the same thing about drinking alcohol and doing drugs. I don't do it because I don't wanna. It's not a moral position that I give for other people. So I would say whatever you did with that preacher at your pastor, I guess he says pastor, at your high school is the right thing to do. Now, whether it's illegal or not, I think on a careers day, you can come in and say, this is what I believe. This is not someone speaking on behalf of the school. It's not curriculum. He's speaking about himself. I mean, you can come in, I think you can come in and speak about just about any job. I guess you probably wouldn't want someone who did something illegal, someone who was a weed farmer or something coming in and talking about his job. But I mean, I would be fine with that. I'm just talking about legality. So the question is it legal? I believe it is. And I believe it's also right. I believe it's fine for a man to come in and talk about his personal religion and how it's part of his life. I think that's important in school, and I'm all for it. Is it the right thing to keep your mouth shut? It's not a question of right and wrong. It's whatever you want to do. And you want to say something to the teacher? I think you could say that you didn't find it edifying or inspiring, but I don't think you can say this is the wrong thing to do. I think your choices are you confront him there in real time if you're the kind of person that feels like doing that, and of course I am. But if you're the kind of person that doesn't feel like that, just keep your mouth shut. There's not a morality. As Christopher Hitchens said, atheists have no saints, we have no martyrs. If it's going to get your ass kicked to bring it up in school that you're an atheist, I say, shut up. Of course, I didn't take that advice. I spoke out and I got my ass kicked, but who cares? You got to get your ass kicked a few times, right? So thanks a lot for writing that note, and sorry, I'm no help at all. GameFly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice from over 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back, and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly website, and the game is yours at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. Penn Point fans get a 15-day free trial when they go to www.penpoint.com gamefly.com/pen. That's www.gamefly.com/pen, because we're on Penn Point.